Genius for life. Coconut smoothies coming at you.
Hello, hello. Welcome to 15 Minutes of Genius. I am your host, humble host, Alex Baer, CEO and founder of Genius Juice. We're here at the Manhattan Beach Studios, and we love to bring on just honestly like anyone that's awesome, right? Great entrepreneurs, investors, advisors, people that know about manufacturing. We've centered a lot on CPG, food and beverage. Now we're going into other areas as well. So, yeah, it's exciting to be hosting the show. Make sure to also check us out on Apple Podcast and Spotify to find out all of your 15 Minutes of Genius episodes. And again, we're at episode 129, so hours and hours of listening to my voice. What could be better, right? So just a big plug to Mark Nicholas, Mark N. at ManhattanBeachStudios.net. He is the guy that is putting this whole thing together. Beautiful cameras, beautiful backdrop, beautiful person. So thank you, Mark. Make sure to reach out to him. He does editing for videos, audio, podcasts. He does, social media videos. He does it all with his partner, Nick. So yeah, reach out, Mark N. at ManhattanBeachStudios.net. So our guest, I'm looking down because I have it all on my phone, also on LinkedIn, is Nicole Ledoux. She is the co-founder and CEO of 88 Acres. Little blurb about 88 Acres. They make seed-based foods with an ingredient philosophy rooted on the 88-acre farm. There's where the title of their company comes from, that their founder, Nicole, grew up on. They create food that is good for your body, good for the planet, and good for your community without compromising on flavor, nutrition, or safety. All of their products are made in a dedicated bakery free of peanuts, tree nuts, gluten, dairy, egg, soy, or sesame. Pretty cool. Nicole, how are you?
I'm great, Alex. How are you? Thanks for having me.
Absolutely. You're rocking the 88 Acres hat. I'm rocking the Genius hat. Yeah. I don't know what I mean about you, but I wear this hat everywhere. Like when I'm golfing, running, just rocking it everywhere. Are you doing the same thing with your hat?
Totally. And I got the hoodie hat clothing memo for the day. So thanks for that.
Nice. We're on the same page. We're aligned. We're aligned. Do people ask you, like, which we'll get into, what does 88 acres mean, like when you're wearing the hat?
All the time. Yeah. They ask if we're a farm. And then when we talk about our foods, they ask if we sell seeds. So
Got it. Got it. It's a constant thing. It's brand awareness, right? Telling people what it means, what you do, but it's fun. You convince someone to buy your product, they become a customer, and then there you go. So you've been doing
totally.
this, you've been at this for a while. We'll get into, I guess, some questions. Hearing about the story, right? You said, I believe verbatim, the greatest founding story, I believe. It was those three words about
Yeah.
88 acres. This is offline before we started the taping. So you can you can damn well bet that my expectations are like through the roof right now hearing this story. So I'm going to flip it back to you. No pressure. Tell us the greatest founding story of all time for food and
Oh
beverage.
man. Now I hope I don't disappoint, Alex.
Putting you on the spot.
Right. So I met my co-founder and now husband on Match.com like a million years ago when that was the only way to meet somebody online. And on our fourth date, he had a severe allergic reaction 4 bites into dinner, and I had to rush him to the ER where I met his mom and dad for the first time.
Great
And
way to
as I
meet.
was like,
Great way to meet your date's parents. It's
totally,
really
right?
break the ice in an ER room. Yeah.
Yeah, and it was like all focus was on him instead of me, and I got to be the hero that saved his life. So they automatically liked me, which was amazing. But that whole episode really sparked us on the journey that we're on today. And he had mentioned to me that he was deathly allergic to peanuts and tree nuts in an earlier date, and I just kind of filed it away under interesting facts. I don't have any food allergies, and I grew up on an 88-acre farm where we grew our own food, and my family's always had this love affair with food. So when I met Rob, I saw how he had to treat, mealtime as a potential minefield. Um, and I remember doing a bunch of research after we got out of the hospital on what I could safely feed him, and going to our local Whole Foods and finding like the three nut-free things on the shelf. And I'll never forget the look on his face when I brought them home, because he was so disappointed. And he was their target consumer. But those like the products that just focused on safety alone made him feel like he was back in elementary school, at the nut-free table eating by himself again. And
Mm-hmm.
he was like, I just want food that I can share with you, or that I'd be psyched to talk about with other people. Like, I want to celebrate when I'm eating. And I just don't feel like I can do that with anything, with any of these. So that was really the genesis for us starting 88 Acres. We were both much healthier versions of ourselves back then, and we were training for triathlons. And I would make him these bars in our crappy basement apartment kitchen. And instead of nuts, I would use seeds, because they're these nutritional powerhouses that are packed with protein and micronutrients.
Mm-hmm.
And importantly for Rob, they're not a common food allergen.
Mm-hmm.
Um, so I would bake him these bars, before our rides, and the people that we trained with in the city would steal bites, and then they would steal, entire bars. And we found them placing orders before rides, and it just sort of careened out of control from there. And we were passing out hundreds of bars before workouts in the morning, when we got in front of Whole Foods, and the rest is kind of history from there. I do not have a background in food, so we very naively thought, we can find a co-packer who can make this, and we'll kind of follow a more traditional path. And that did not happen. And one of the reasons why we figured out that there were not very many companies that were doing multi-allergen free
Mm-hmm.
foods
Mm-hmm.
was because there just isn't available co-manufacturing set up for that. So
Got it. I
we
wanted to
were faced with
jump in on a couple questions and also comments
yeah.
that allergen-free bars, and like, there's like Blake's seeds. We had him on a previous show, and there's another one that I just discovered, like San Diego bar, right, which is obviously mostly in San Diego. This is a trend that is now happening in the last like couple years, 2, 3 years, and you were ahead of this trend, which is awesome, because now the trend is
Yeah.
here and people are realizing that, people have sent that they have sensitivities to nuts. My partner and CSO, Mike Rao, he can't have most bars. So this would be like an amazing bar for him. So entering into a category before it really became big, when you first started, what was it like educating people, saying, hey, this is allergen free? Like, how did that kind of resonate with the customer? Did people like get it right away and see the value, or did it take some time for it to catch on?
Um, I think that a little bit of both. One of the things that we were really focused on was we wanted to lead with the food first. So the food had to taste incredible, it had to be super nutritious, and then it just so happens to be made in a completely safe environment for the people who need it to be safe. And so we really worked hard to be a food first company. Um, Sometimes to the detriment of shouting the allergy free story from the rooftop. So the vast majority of our customers actually don't have food allergies. They just think that we make delicious products. And I think that is incredible. And it's a testament to the food and the food philosophy. But I think, when we were going out um, to find retailers to carry our products, the bar space, it was incredibly crowded. And so being really differentiated, at the time when we launched in Whole Foods, we were the only multi-allergen free bar
Mm-hmm.
in their bar set, the only dedicated nut-free bar. And so despite the fact that it was a super crowded field, they were really excited because we were filling some true white space.
Absolutely. And yeah, you're right. The bar category is giant. It's like a wall, right? And
Yeah.
the shelf-stable bar, especially. So to have anything possible to get someone to buy your bar over another one is really, really crucial. So it's all about differentiation. So great job there for sure in your marketing position. Let's go into the bakery, the story behind that. I felt that was really compelling. I'm not going to say anything or give away any tips on what actually you told me, but let's go into what it is all about, how you make the bar. Is it at a co-packer? Do you make it yourself? I already revealed that in your intro. You make it yourself. So, but tell us more about it and how you're helping the community.
Sure. So I think when we first had the idea to start the company, we thought that we might have the opportunity to use co-packers like the vast majority of food and bev companies do. And we very quickly found out that the reason there were so few nut-free companies, in particular multi-allergen-free companies, was that there really was no allergen-free co-packers. We did an extensive search
Mm-hmm.
across the country. We needed to find a co-packer who, like, A, wanted to work with a startup, B, didn't have any of the major allergens that we were trying to avoid, and then C, we make our bars in a pretty different way. So we bake our bars. Most of them are cold form extruded, so they're not baked. So we needed particular equipment that most people wouldn't have. So we were in this position where um, we either had to build our own manufacturing or we had to just kind of walk away from the idea.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and if we were going to build a manufacturing facility, we really wanted to think about how we could use our manufacturing to drive purposeful manufacturing jobs into the community. And so we built our bakery in the back half of 2014 in the inner city of Boston, and we hire directly from the neighborhood, all by referral. And we have programs where we do leadership development, have really high retention rates, and promote from within, develop leaders from within, and are super proud of the team that we have making our foods every day. And like,
Mm-hmm.
that's the reason they taste amazing, is because we have such a kick-ass team that makes them.
I think that's really awesome. That's a great story that you're supporting the community, bringing people in. There was this awesome quick story. I'm going to make it 30 seconds, or else I don't want to make this about us or Genius at all. This is really about the guests we bring on with their great stories. But there's a store that's in Eagle Rock, California. I think it's called Fresh. There's a full name, but it has Fresh in the name, which can be only half the stores in the country are named Fresh something. But they found a homeless person, right? There's a lot of homeless people near downtown LA in Eagle Rock. And they found him, they brought him in, they rehabilitated him, they hired him as an employee to start stocking shelves like 10 years ago. Stocking shelves, he started there, obviously got clean, he moved up and became like, kind of like an assistant kind of clerk, and then like one of the head cashiers. And then he started going into like management. He became a manager. And then and like 10 years later, he's managing the entire store. So he went
That is
from
like incredible.
from a homeless person, like that's, with substance abuse, to the manager managing the store that does millions in revenue, like a very popular store. So I love how you're helping the community. That's really, really great. So I want to get into, because we're running out of time, this is like kind of a question I have that with entrepreneurs watching and like really learning from your story. You've been at this for on paper, on LinkedIn, which I call paper now, even though it's digital, 10 years, right? You've been doing this for 10 years.
Yeah.
You marched out. I'm going to do this. I'm going to pursue this, with your co-founder, and which is Rob, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So you two
Also
go
my
out,
husband.
and your husband, right? The guy
Yeah.
you saved, from an allergen outbreak or allergen reaction. So if you didn't watch that part of this episode, you got to go back about 10 minutes. You can't just cut it in the middle, because you didn't get what I just said unless you watched the whole thing. So shame on you. Watch the whole thing. So you've been at this a while. Let's say 7 years after you built your manufacturing facility. what is next, right? Do you want to keep growing it and then become, be profitable, and maybe you're already profitable, and just keep growing the business? Do you want to go for acquisition? Because I see brands that get in this thing where it's not a quick pump and dump. They're in it for the long term. So what is your plan with 88 acres? Whatever you want to share.
Yeah, I mean, right now we're in the midst of expanding our bakery operation and ensuring that we have the capacity for the next phase of growth. So that takes up a lot of my time. Um, we're building a national household brand. So continuing to open doors in a really deliberate, smart, thoughtful way. We're in about 4,000 grocery stores nationally with a big emphasis on natural. So it's really
Fantastic.
starting
It's great.
in conventional now.
Got it. So cut out a little bit there, but we'll keep that in because this is a real show. Wi-Fi does fail sometimes. So we got to be real here. Keeping up with the 88 acres. So do you have plans to have an acquisition? Do you want to just keep it going and continue being, get to profitability? Are you profitable right now? Again, whatever you want to share, just to give entrepreneurs a better idea of where you're at with your business.
Yeah, I mean, I think if we grow the brand correctly, there'll be lots of opportunity down the road to think about, I don't know, where this goes eventually. We're really just focused on growing the business as much as we can. We are also really focused on profitability and building the capability within our bakery to launch some interesting innovation, hopefully in the next 12 months or so.
It's great. I think for people watching, it's really awesome what Nicole has built because you have your own facility, you control the manufacturing, you control innovation. You're not under the mercy of a co-packer where you have MOQs and you get moved around in the schedule. And yeah, so you can really do it. You can do it your way in a sustainable way. And the biggest thing that I feel is that you're building a company. You're building not only the product, not only the brand, but a strong company with great employees, people at the bakery, co-founders, management team. And when you build a great company, a lot of doors open, right? You get a lot of options, whether you want to sell the brand, keep running it and pass it down to someone in your family. So I think that is the right move. You're not you didn't set out to say, I'm going to get acquired in 2 years and grow it to 50 million like many people dream of doing. You're really focused on building a strong, long-lasting company and brand. So it's great.
Yeah.
So let's go into our next segment, which is called, I nailed it, right? Well, you nailed it, and then I just echoed what you said. So this is now rapid fire questions. Rapid fire questions. All right. So you hopefully have seen other episodes at some point.
I have.
Yes. Okay, good. The marketing is working. People are not just scrolling by me, Usually when people see me, they're like, okay, next one, get out, get this guy off the screen.
Not true.
I watched Conan O'Brien as a kid, and he was always so self-deprecating. He always made fun of himself. And I'm like, I really relate to that guy. He's skinny, he's tall, he's socially awkward, and he makes fun of himself. I'm going to start doing that. It's great. So that's where it comes from. Love you, Conan, wherever you are. All right, so I'm going to ask you a bunch of questions. Just go through them as quickly as you can. Answer whatever comes to your mind. Ready to go?
I'm ready.
All right, first question. For music, which decade is best, the 70s, 80s, or 90s?
90s hip hop.
Right on. I like Juicy, Notorious B.I.G., one of my favorite songs. I can't sing it, but I love listening to it. All right, what do you do for exercise?
A little of everything. I like to keep it interesting.
Right on.
Run, Peloton, CrossFit workouts, whatever I can get my hands on.
Right on. Love it. Movie you can watch an unlimited amount of times.
Oh, My Cousin Vinny.
My Cousin Vinny. I remember the one scene with Marissa Tomei testifying. It's not a
If you think
Dodge or
I'm
whatever.
hostile now, wait till later.
Then he got
So
like,
good.
Joe Pesci after she testified. He's just like, yeah. That's a great movie. All right. If you haven't
Yeah,
watched it,
it's fantastic.
watch it. All right. Chocolate or vanilla?
Chocolate.
Favorite country to travel to?
Jordan.
Right on. Favorite Star Wars character?
Hmm. I don't know. Luke Skywalker, I guess.
It's my
There's a
favorite.
lot to choose from.
Yeah, Luke, the George Lucas franchise has made a character out of any single person or mutant or whatever that shows on the screen for like 3 seconds. Like
Yeah,
if it's there for 2 seconds in Star Wars, it becomes a nationally distributed figure in stores. Yeah, George Lucas wanted to make money off of every single character, it seems. All right,
good for him.
he's a billionaire, so he's doing something right. Yeah, I think. All right, what is your spirit animal?
Spirit animal. Um, a giraffe.
Love it. First time anyone's answered giraffe on the show. Just want to notate that. First time, and it's great. Do you like to drive an SUV, a coupe, or a truck?
Oh, I'm a pickup truck girl at heart, but I own an SUV.
Okay. All right. So both. For food,
Yeah.
salty or sweet?
Uh, I like salty and sweet, but if I had to pick one, I'd probably go salty.
Right on. Your bars, are they mostly sweet or salty or both?
They're sweet, but we use a larger grain sea salt, so you get a pop of sea salt in every bite.
Love it. Love it. Got to have that pop, just that flavor that
Yeah.
comes through. Yep. Favorite day of the week and why?
I like Thursday because you're still really productive, but the weekend is in sight.
Love it. Which right now it's Thursday. We're taping on Thursday. So
Yeah.
love it. All right. Uber or Lyft?
Um, Neither. I live in the burbs. I guess Uber.
Okay. If you were forced to take one of them, it'd be Uber. No
Yeah,
hitchhiking.
I have both apps on my phone, so it'd probably be like whichever one could get to me faster.
Got it. That's a good answer. And also, what's not surging, right? Better price. Yeah.
Yeah.
LeBron James, Michael Jordan, or Kobe Bryant, the greatest of all time.
Oh. It's a tie between Kobe and MJ. I have to say Michael Jordan.
Yeah, I would agree.
He's like my generation.
Exactly. Yeah, mine too. Yeah, I'm 39, so grew up watching him in the early 90s. I remember when he went to play baseball. I'm like, what in the hell is this
Right?
guy doing? Then he came back to the NBA. I'm like, this guy's a joke. He went to play baseball. Like, what? Why? Then he came back and won 3 titles in a row. I'm like, okay, never mind. Not gonna say anything mean. Nothing. Like you can go out. You can go do golf and bowling for all I care. You've earned it. You know, you've
Yeah,
earned
I
your.
feel like Bo Jackson kind of paved the way for the two sport career for MJ anyway. So
That's right. He
he
played
made
for
it
the
possible.
Royals for baseball or whatever, and then football, right, or something like that.
Yep.
Yeah. Yeah, and also the other guy, Daryl Strawberry. No, there's another guy, Deion Sanders. Played baseball
Yeah.
and football. Yep.
Yep.
All right. Terminator 1 or Terminator 2? Which one do you like better?
Hmm. I think Terminator 2 had some really cool special effects for its time. So I'll go
Absolutely.
T2.
Yep. James Cameron. Did you hear that? He's on the lot somewhere here at MBS. T2
We
all the
love you,
way.
James.
we had Patrick Schwarzenegger on, obviously Arnold Schwarzenegger's son, and I asked him
Yeah.
that question. I actually added that question because of him.
What did
And
he say?
what do you think he said?
I mean, he should say T2.
Yep, he said T2. And I'm like, they're both great. T2's better, in my opinion. He's like,
Okay.
yeah. All right, favorite food or drink if you're stuck on a deserted island? You cannot say Genius Juice, and you cannot say 88 acres. And that deserted island is 88 acres big. Just
Okay.
coincidence.
Um, Probably Popcorn or strawberries?
Okay, that's a good combination. That salty sweet thing that you were answering earlier. You want both?
Yeah.
They're both. There you go. All right, so that is rapid fire questions with Nicole Ledoux. Big crowd here. James Cameron's one of them clapping. He's in the audience. Right?
Awesome.
James, you're there, right? You got to do a sound effect for James, Mark. Maybe you can find that. Him going, yeah, off a YouTube video or something. All right. So, yeah, thank you for joining us. Awesome product. Make sure to go out to your local store. Whole Foods has it. Tell us any other national.
Whole Foods, Sprouts.
Sprouts. Yep. Okay. Those are two of the best natural chains. Love those. So, good stuff. Episode 129 in the books. So, Nicole, thank you for joining us, and glad we got to finally do this.
Thank you so much, Alex. Appreciate it. Have a great night.
Absolutely. You too. And fantastic story as well. I just have to also echo that with her bakery, with 88 farms, 88 acres farm, like all these really cool things that adds up to the brand story. I think it's really, really powerful. So make sure to go out, buy her product, Google 88 acres, go on our website, buy it as well. So awesome stuff. So again, episode 129 in the books. Big plug for Mark Nicholas, mark@animatedmeatstudios.net for all your editing desires. Make sure to reach out to him. He also has a cool dude that works with him, with probably the deepest voice I've ever heard. Whenever I meet him, he's like, or see him, he's like, hey, Alex, how you doing? So they both work together to do great videos for social media, editing, podcast stuff, what we're doing here. They made it happen. So again, thank you for joining us. Check us on Apple Podcasts as well, Spotify. And one last thing, when you're on 88 acres, stay genius, my friends.
Genius for life. Coconut smoothies coming at you.